It don't going to be like different with Alex, you know. The wrestle is going to be the same. I'm gonna knock him out in the first round, second round. If not, I'm gonna dominate him for 5 rounds, no problem.
Can Ilia Topuria beat Alexander Volkanovski for the featherweight championship this weekend? To figure this out, we have to know how Ilia got this title shot and what was his come up in the UFC rankings. Ilia Topuria started training martial arts at about the age of 4 years old. His father was one of the main influences on getting him to become a martial artist. And at just 20 years old, Ilia made his professional debut in a local Spanish promotion and won by submission. Topuria would win his next 4 fights by submission as well. Onwards in Ilia's career, he would enter the UFC at 8-0, all finishes, never going past the 3rd round, which is insanely impressive. His first fight was in 2020 on short notice and would go to a unanimous decision win against Yusuf Zalal. Topuria would then go on to beat Damon Jackson, knocking him out in the 1st round. Ilia then took on Ryan Hall, extremely good BJJ practitioner, known for dangerous heel hooks. And what did Ilia do? Knocked him out on the ground. Next, Ilia fought Jai Herbert at lightweight and would knock him out despite being dropped earlier in the fight. This fight showed Topuria could make adjustments. Next, Ilia would put a beating on Bryce Mitchell, a real featherweight contender, and submit him with an arm triangle. In June of 2023, Ilia's last fight was against hard hitter Josh Emmett, and Topuria put on a masterclass, battering Josh Emmett over 5 rounds and won by unanimous decision. Which brings us to now, Alexander Volkanovski, the arguable featherweight GOAT, and whether or not Ilia Topuria will pull it off and beat Alexander Volkanovski for the featherweight belt. Wait, before the video continues, can you please hit that subscribe button and like if you are enjoying my content, because 98% of my viewers are not subscribed, which is kind of insane if you ask me. And if you want to be notified when I upload a video, hit that bell too. I appreciate it. Now, Ilia Topuria is definitely Volkanovski's hardest contender fight yet. Ilia Topuria is an extremely hard hitter, heavy-handed boxer and can strike for real. You cannot be in the pocket with Ilia Topuria exchanging punches and not expect to get put on that canvas. Ilia is a real dangerous threat to Volkanovski's title run in the featherweight division. As we've seen, Ilia can really put beatings on top contenders in the featherweight division. But will he be able to pull it off against Volkanovski is questionable. We have seen another contender who's almost just as good as Ilia, Yair Rodriguez, and Yair was also putting the beats on a lot of the contenders, only rarely losing to Max Holloway in recent times. The way Yair Rodriguez beat Josh Emmett was also definitely a sight to see, and he submitted him in an exciting fashion. Josh Emmett has been one of those guys for, I guess, the past 2 top contenders that once you beat Josh Emmett, you get that title shot. Josh Emmett is a very hard hitter and one of those guys that will really put a beating on you if you can't get past him and can't figure him out. As we've seen, Ilia went to a decision with Josh Emmett, putting the beats on him in almost every round. Yair Rodriguez was also one of those contenders that a lot of people had faith in terms of being an actual real threat and possibly being able to beat Volkanovski for the belt. Of course, it's different to Ilia Topuria. Ilia is undefeated. He's finished 83 or 84% of his fights. Ilia is just a different guy and is no doubt the hardest fight that Volkanovski is going to have for the past couple of years. And if Volkanovski didn't fight Islam in their rematch a couple months ago, I would have 100% confidently said Volkanovski is going to win without even really second guessing it. But after that Islam fight, I'm not sure how Volkanovski is going to be in the octagon after getting knocked out the way he got knocked out in that brutal fashion. We don't know if he's going to come back looking the same way that he always does. After all, getting knocked out like that has to definitely take a toll on a fighter. I mean, we've never seen something like that happen to Volkanovski ever. So we don't know if Volkanovski is going to come back exactly the same as he's always been. And it has only been 4 months since that fight. I don't know if 4 months is enough time to heal and let your brain go back to, back to its normal state and recover properly. 4 months is pretty quick. When Kamaru Usman got knocked out by Leon Edwards in their second fight, he only came back about 7 or 6 months later to rematch him. And I think we can all say that Kamaru wasn't really the same fighter that he was before the knockout when he came back to fight Leon. He was a bit more hesitant. He didn't look like the classic Kamaru. So I don't know. And that's 6-7 months. 4 months for Volkanovski it's risky. It's definitely something that you have to look at when considering who you think is going to win this fight. And then on top of that, Ilia is one of Volk's hardest fights yet, with the power to put a man to absolute sleep. And Ilia Topuria is extremely confident. We haven't seen a contender this confident with this much self-belief in a while. Ilia is so confident he already has UFC champion in his Instagram bio, which is kind of crazy to me. And a lot of people think Ilia needs to be humbled, but I don't know. I feel like when you're at this level in MMA, sometimes being this confident and this cocky is beneficial to your mental stability and maintaining that mental mindset of, I am the best, I will be the best. I mean, man said he's going to put Volkanovski down in 1 round. He's going to make it look easy.
You will see. He's saying a lot of bullshit. There's levels. I have this and I have that. Yes, you're right. There are levels. Then there it's me. I'm going to show where the levels are. I'm going to dominate him everywhere. I'm going to make him look like a punching bag. I will be dancing February 17th.
All these things that really seem to like undermine Volkanovski as a fighter. But I think more than that, it's just the amount of self-belief Ilia has. And when you have gotten to the level where Ilia is being undefeated, I can see why. When he's finished almost every opponent put in front of him, I can see why he has this mindset. I do think that he could do with some humbling, but I understand that this is what comes with being the best in the world. Conor McGregor's mindset was one of those as well that was just on another level leading up to him becoming the world champion and the double champ. His self-belief was so strong and so unbreakable. And Ilia kind of gives me that kind of energy and those types of vibes, like the McGregor mindset. Definitely not McGregor now, who's drinking himself away and coking every weekend, but the old McGregor. It does sometimes go a little too far when Ilia thinks he's one of the biggest pay-per-view draws in the sport. He thinks he's a bigger pay-per-view draw than O'Malley. Thinks he's such a star when he really isn't that big of a pay-per-view draw and a star yet. He can be, but to be that cocky when you're not that yet, that's a bit kind of, it's kind of weird. But I will say, if anyone can come back from such a knockout, from such a loss, it's definitely Alexander Volkanovski. Volk is really one of the only people that could get knocked out like that, come back, and just dominate. Because Volkanovski is really built different. His reign in the featherweight division is definitely one to be studied. His mindset, how powerful, how strong he is. Volkanovski's technique, his gaming, his IQ is really on a different level. But here's my verdict. If Volkanovski comes back looking like classic Volk, he's beating Ilia Topuria, in my opinion. But if Volkanovski comes back looking like a Volk that's different and isn't his old self, then I think Ilia will win. I think Ilia might knock him out. I think Ilia will definitely put him on the canvas a couple of times. It really just depends on how Volk is going to look in the fight. But does Ilia Topuria have the highest chance of beating Volk out of anyone in this entire roster besides Max Holloway maybe? Of course, Ilia is the only guy that could possibly beat Volk. I personally think that he's going to pull it off. No, I don't think he beats Volkanovski if classic Volk shows up. It's interesting to look at statistics as well, because according to statistics in the UFC, no fighter 35 years old or above has ever won in a title bout. This is in any weight class below light heavyweight. So there's never been a champion or somebody to win in a title bout. These are statistics that are interesting to look at because it clearly shows that there's some type of decline in the lower weight classes once you reach 35 years old. So we'll see. But if there's any guy, like I said, if there's any guy to actually beat the odds and go against what's possible, it's Alexander Volkanovski. I believe in Volk. I think Volk is going to get it done. And that's my prediction for the main event. Please leave a comment down below if you have a differing opinion or if you agree with what I say. I read all the comments, so I really want to know what you guys think of who's going to win. And please hit that like button if you want me to do more videos and more fight predictions. Thanks for watching. and I'll see you. Peace out.